Welcome to Health is Wealth. I'm DrJason coming to you from Active Health in beautiful sunny LA. And on today's topic of health is wealth, we're going to talk about eating for your body, eating for fuel. Now, how many times have you ever eaten a certain diet or program or plan and realized that, everyone else is doing this, but it just doesn't feel like it's right for you? Or maybe you've eaten, a certain way for a certain amount of time and it feels good, but you're not really getting the results you want. So maybe you're eating in a way where it gives you good energy, but you're not happy with your body composition. Or maybe you're eating in a way that's making you look really good, and you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, like I look great, but you don't feel good. And so what's happening is you're getting one result you want and one result you don't want. Or maybe you listened and read books and you've heard from your friends and your coworkers and everybody about this way that you're supposed to eat, and you follow somebody on Instagram and you're like, wow, that looks so good, but it just seems totally impossible and unsustainable for you. Maybe you don't have time to cook, or maybe it just doesn't make sense. Well, today we're going to talk about eating for your body. And what we're going to talk about is this. Look, your health is your wealth. And the reason it's your wealth is because if you take care of it properly, it pays you dividends like a good investment. If you don't take care of your health, you've got to pay the price. And the ultimate price is lost time. Whether that's leaving this earth too soon, or whether that's being laid up and not being able to do the things you want to do, my desire from my heart to yours is to learn how to eat and take care of your body properly in all ways so that you can live the life you were designed to live. Now, when we talk about eating for your body and for your fuel, really, I want you to know the first step is that food is fuel. The reason we eat is to sustain our body, to allow it to repair and rejuvenate, and to give us fuel to go through our day, to go through our life, to go through our courses of action throughout the day. So the very first step in eating for your body is to understand what it is that you want. What is your currency? Is it the way you look? Is it your level of energy to attack life? What is it that you want? Is it that you want to eat nutrients for your skin and your hair, and you want your hair to be impeccable? Because there's certain foods that support that. There's certain foods like organ meat that, for example, is good for your skin and your hair and your nails. What is it you want? Is it mental clarity? So once you identify what it is you want, there are certain foods that either support or take away from those characteristics that you want. So I'm going to give you a list of a couple of things you can do to support common desires of many people, and then you get to decide for yourself what you want to do. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is sugar. Many of us fuel ourselves with sugar, and I grew up having Pop-Tarts and cereal for breakfast, and what happens is you wake up and you're starving. And you're starving because you eat sugar all the time, and immediately you've got thousands of insulin receptors that are screaming like, where's the sugar? So you carb up, you carb load up like there's no tomorrow. There's a couple of challenges with that. Number one is no time in history, except for in the recent past couple of 100 years, have humans ever woken up to having a pantry, a fridge, or a closet full of carbohydrates. It's just not natural. Now, I did it for years, so I'm not knocking it, but I want you to be able to make the decision for yourself. So you wake up and you're hangry, you're hungry, you're angry, you're like, where's that food? You carb up and you're instantly eating cereal, starches, pancakes, whatever it is. By the way, I love pancakes. It's not every day all the time. So you carb up, you carb up, you carb up, and what happens then with sugar is a couple of things. Number one, your blood sugar goes way up. So your pancreas secretes insulin to bring it out of the bloodstream and into the cells. So all of a sudden your pancreas is working really hard. Now if you work the pancreas too hard, you can develop diabetes. It's much more complex than that, and there are types of diabetes that you're born with. So this doesn't apply to everybody, but in general, when you eat a lot of sugar, pancreas works really hard, insulin brings it back into the cells, and then oftentimes your blood sugar will drop, which gives you that dip where you're like, oh man, I'm tired now. Well, the hormone cortisol from your adrenal glands works to break down muscle protein and boost your blood sugar back up to stable levels. So oftentimes if you eat a lot of sugar, you're going to notice ups and downs in your energy. You feel really good, real strong, like you could go through a wall, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I can't do anything, I need food. So one of the challenges with eating a lot of sugar in a carbohydrate-based diet is that you're always hungry. You got to have that sugar. If you don't have it, you're really tired. You're not very adaptable. And what also happens is, as our body needs to store that sugar, once we've got about 400 grams stored between our muscles and our liver, the body converts it into fat. That fat is then carried out to be stored over the body, and that's how we have cholesterol issues. So eating a carb-heavy diet, especially first thing in the morning, rather than, let's say, post-workout, sets you up for things like clouded thinking, low energy, and always depending on carbs. So one suggestion, simple suggestion, is that if you do love sugar and you love carbs, hey, more power to you. I do too. But to intelligently eat them, let's say after a workout, maybe taking a walk at lunch and then having your carbs, doing something where you're actually burning through the carbohydrates that your muscles store, your liver stores, and then utilizing them as a refilling of those carbohydrate stores called glycogen stores. That way you're less susceptible to the ups and the downs, the clouded thinking, the insulin cloud that comes over you like, oh, I'm full. That's a really great idea. So just be aware of how carbs affect you like that, and how our body is not designed, while we need glucose, it's not designed to have excessive levels of glucose. Now, one solution is to have fats. And a lot of times there's this popular diet going around now called keto or paleo, and they're very similar. But what keto diet is and what eating fats is about is the understanding that fats have more energy than sugar, calorie per calorie. Fats provide us with a lot of energy, and our body breaks down fats and uses those for fuel. But when our body is used to having sugar around, it's like it doesn't even want to use fats. It's like, no, just give me the sugar. So if you start out your day, for example, with some MCT oil, some medium chain triglyceride oil like coconut oil, or you have like some butter, for example, in your coffee, your tea, or you've got fats in your diet like avocados. Some people love avocados. Some people love to blend them up. Some people eat them. I had some in my salad last night. If you have a lot of fats, peanut butter, almond butter, that type of thing, and you don't have the sugars, what happens is you tend to think on a clearer level because your body's not wasting a lot of energy trying to deal with the glucose. What happens is your energy tends to be more sustained over time. So oftentimes one of the hacks I use is if I know I'm going to the office, I'm going to have hours worth of grinding, I will have some fats, peanut butter, some almond butter, maybe with an apple, a banana, some acai, avocado. I will utilize those, but understand that fats are very heavy. They take time and energy to break down. So if I have a busy day of adjusting patients, if I'm going for a workout, I'm not going to have those fats. I'm not going to have avocado before a workout. My body's going to feel heavy. All the blood's going to divert to my digestive tract. You typically want to have a little tiny bit of fats if you've got something that you really takes your energy and your physical use. You don't want to overindulge in the fats. Or post-workout, your body will just crave those fats, metabolize them, and it'll keep your energy more sustained. So there's times to utilize glucose and sugar in your diet to fuel you, but the downsides are if you use glucose all the time, you crave it, you're hangry, and your energy can go up and down. Fats can be really, really good to sustain your energy over long periods of time and hours, but if you eat too much, you get really heavy, it can be hard to digest, can affect your bowel movements, and again, you want to use fats sparingly or after a workout. But what about protein? Well, a lot of times, I remember when I was into weightlifting and bodybuilding, that I would eat copious amounts of protein. I heard, a gram per pound of body weight, 2 grams per pound of body weight. So, right around 200 pounds, even 400 grams of protein, 200 grams, 400 grams a day. That's a lot of protein. Protein is a building block of life. We need proteins. But what happens is many people are falsely consuming knowingly, they're thinking they need to consume way too much protein. We really don't need that much protein. What ends up happening, just like taking excessive vitamins and you will urinate them out, if we have excessive protein, your body just gets rid of them. We really don't need a lot of proteins. And what many people do is they eat a lot of protein because they think, I got to build muscle, I need this for energy. And what ends up happening is they start having bad gas, foul-smelling urine, and their body just urinates it out, and it can put a lot of stress and strain on the kidneys. And when your kidneys are stressed and strained, you tend to get tired. You tend to get really tired because your body's working overtime. Your kidneys control your blood pressure. So sugars are great, but they should be used sparingly and at the right times. Fats are good, and they can be used to give you energy over long periods of time. Proteins are great, but not too much. We don't need that much protein for our body, probably far less than you think. So what ends up happening is, if you identify what you want out of your body and out of your health, hey, I want energy. You know what? I need repair because I'm utilizing my body, I'm working out. You know what? I want to be very light because I'm sitting down at a desk all day, and if I eat heavy, I just get tired and sleepy. When you identify what it is you want for your health and what your goals are, which are going to be different than mine, what's going to happen is you can eat for the way you want. So hopefully understanding how sugars affect you and how, again, they can be really good, but then they can actually cause you to be super hungry when it's not even lunch break yet. Fats are really good, but if you eat too much at the wrong times, you might be sitting on the toilet instead of sitting at work. And proteins are good, but if you're constantly stressing your kidneys, you might pay the ultimate price down the road. So think about what it is you want out of your body. Leave it in your comments below. I'll go through and I'll do my best to answer and try to help you to figure out what foods are helping you and what foods might be holding you back. And probably the best, simplest advice overall is balance and moderation, and having lots and lots of greens and vegetables, because there's really no way you're going to overdose on greens and vegetables. You need a lot of those, and leave it in your comments below any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm Dr. Jason. This is Health is Wealth. Thank you for liking and subscribing so we can bring you more content geared towards what you want.